I showed you this sickle bar mower a while back and told you I'd do a video once I got it all together and got a chance to use it. Well, it's all together now. I finally got all the missing parts, and this actually is an Enorossi BFT 150H. The H means it's got a hydraulic cylinder on it for turning the blade up and down. And there you can see the cylinder. And it's all together now. It did come. It was missing all the hardware, all the chain, the chain parts, manual, and all kinds of stuff from Italy. But they finally got me the parts, and I've got it all together now, and I'm ready to try it. And that guard there was missing, and so I couldn't use it up till this point. I did have to shorten the PTO down 2 inches, the PTO shaft there, 2 inches to make it work on this Kubota tractor. And there's a little manual holder with the manual that didn't come with it either. So, I really had to wait for that till I could figure out how to set it up and use it. And you can see it's a 5-foot sickle bar mower. Actually, it's got the shield on it there. But it turns out that it's just the perfect size for my little BX tractor here. And it's it's a very simple mower. It does have the hydraulic up and down for it, and I did run that hydraulic up to the loader control. I had to extend that with a little further hose and a Kubota quick connect. Now there are a couple parts, those chains there, that was supposed to be the down chain. I couldn't get that to work. It was just too big for my little tractor. And I wound up pulling this extra flow control out because I got it working right with just the one that's on the cylinder. That one seemed to be make it a little finicky. So there's one on the cylinder there that you just have to loosen that nut and set it. And, I was able to get it working, just at a nice speed for me. So that's what it looks like on the tractor. And let's start it up here, and I'll just show you how it works. You can see the 3-point hitch goes up and down with it. You don't really use that much, and it does go from vertical to horizontal. So if you want to trim trees, you leave it in the vertical position like that, and for the grass and stuff, you do the horizontal position. And then I drop the 3-point hitch, and you can see those chains actually stop it just before it drags on the ground. So that's what they're for. They make it really easy to use, so you don't, dig it into the dirt too often. And it goes up and down, nice and easy. And let's take the guard off here and just kind of take a look at it. And this is kind of, I guess they call these a double acting sickle bar because both pieces move. You got the blade inside there, and you got the those outer guides that it cuts against. And again, there you can see it's vertical there and then horizontal, and the whole thing turns, and there's just like a couple of simple little cams there that operate it. And there's that chain. You can see when I drop that down, it keeps it from scalping, so you don't have to worry about dropping it down too far or anything. Just fits this little BX tractor perfect. I'm really surprised. And the PTO, it doesn't take much horsepower at all to run. And you can see it'll give me a nice wide cut to do what I have to do down below. I'll show you in a second how far out of control that's gotten. And I turn it up to trim the property edges to the trees and stuff, and it still operates. So it's really, it's really going to be handy for trimming around the edge too, plus around the pond. And I did wind up putting 150 pounds on the front of the tractor. I just made another little weight bracket. And I didn't take the mower deck off. I used that little thing there to set it at the highest position, but that was kind of a mistake. Now here we are down at the bottom of the hill. We're going to test it out, and this is around my pond. There's a pond back there. It used to be all mowed and weed whacked and everything, but last year I did absolutely nothing. I was, kind of sick and couldn't do anything, and this year it's really out of control, and the year before it was wet, so I couldn't do a lot. So it's totally out of control, and that's the reason that I bought this mower. It's not what the mower is made for. This is really made for cutting hay. And these pond reeds, they're pretty tough. They're up to about inch and a quarter diameter. And then if you notice, there's also some pretty big trees that grew up in here I have to deal with now. For now, I'm trying to avoid the biggest ones. And up to about 1.25 inch diameter, this thing will shear a tree right off. Small brush and trees and stuff. Don't know if it's supposed to, but I cut a lot of them with it. I tell you, I've been, now that I've had a chance to use it for a couple days. And you can see it's a nice, it does give you a nice offset, but when you're cutting grass, you're moving faster and everything falls out of the way. When you're trying to cut these big reeds and go slow and avoid stuff, it kind of makes a mess. Everything just kind of either hangs up on the mower, it keeps mowing, but it just drags along with it. And you can see some of those reeds are 10 feet tall too. And there's a mixture of trees in there with them. But it does actually cut them beautiful. I had no idea, it was going to work quite this nice. I could go along at a faster clip if I wanted to, but I'm just trying to take it easy because I don't know what's in there right now. So I just decided to start at the front of the pond here and see if I could cut it back so I can at least see it again. I know it's a mess back there because I haven't put any of the barley straw in it for a while or anything. But immediately I did find out that I should have taken the mower deck off because that only hangs about 4 inches off the ground and has a hard time clearing this stuff when you go back over it again. And you can see that, but I was able to get through and be able to see the pond at least again. And cut's really beautiful. I'm really happy with it, and like I said, they didn't really rate it for this stuff, but I think it's going to be a great helper. And once I get everything trimmed back and can take care of it and maintain it, it's going to be a lot easier. It'll never overgrow like this again, hopefully. So there it is. There's the mess I made in 5 minutes with it. And one thing I realized is, a regular mower kind of chops the grass up, where this is actually leaves it whole. So that can become a problem when you're trying to go over stuff. So right now I do have a what they call a pine straw rake on order. Should be here this week, and I'll make a video about it when I get it. And I'm going to modify that to fit on my John Deere loader, so I can deal with all of this stuff real quick and just get it out of the way. And because this cleanup is probably going to take me 2 months, I'm guessing, in my spare time. There's over 2 acres down here that's overgrown now. So, and I've got some trees to remove and stuff like that. So you can, it's not going to be a quick thing. I'll do it a little bit at a time as I feel good. And, that's it. But it really has to be done. Just looks so nice when it's cleaned up and looks like hell like this. So there you can see that, these big reeds and stuff do build up on it, but it takes them down and, moves them out of the way, and it'll be a little bit easier on a bigger tractor with bigger wheels and more ground clearance. But I really think this is like a perfect match for the little BX. And then I got some pockets where the muskrats have dug holes along in this stuff too from not clearing up, so I get, I'll get stuck in there, stuck here. And actually I got too close to the edge at one point, almost went in the pond with it, but that was my own stupidity. So you can, I just wanted to do a video and show you that, even though it's not made for it, and they don't recommend, cutting a lot of this kind of stuff. It does it, and that's what I bought it for. And I just wish I had looked at this 2 years ago, actually. And I will tell you one thing, that it was almost $1,000 cheaper 2 years ago. Prices have skyrocketed on these things, and it also, I was lucky to find one that was on a boat on its way from Italy here, and it didn't have anybody's name on it already, so I was able to claim that one. And due to the pandemic, it was missing the hardware, so that took, another month to get. But anyhow, now it's all together, all working, and you can see I'm just going around the pond down here, and I've got this whole area I'm going to expand out into in a little while. But it does what I wanted it to do. And you know, I'm trying. You can see I'm trying to avoid. There's a pretty big tree growing up right there. It's probably about an 8-inch diameter trunk on it. So you know, I grew up in 2 years too, with all the water and moisture down here, I guess. Really not a lot of fish in the pond either, because every couple of years it does dry up. So I'm hoping to get it dug out a little bit deeper someday. But it's a great habitat for, we have the herring down here that eat the frogs. This time of the year it's loaded with frogs, and at night, if you don't have the AC on, you got the windows open, that's all you hear down there, just the frogs singing their songs. Okay, so now I've got this other part here, and again, this is, up till last year, this was always mowed, so you can see it's kind of overgrown. It does get wet in the spring, so it's tough to get in early, so you have to weed anyway. But this is a very, very thick grass. I don't know what it is, but it's super thick and all matted together. And again, this thing goes right through it, no problem. You can see every once in a while I just kind of lift it up to get it off of there, but you know, the tractor, it doesn't really put any extra strain on the tractor. It just cuts. I don't think it uses more than about 8-10 horsepower of the tractor to cut, and it just goes through everything. And the biggest problem is going to be cleaning it all up. But once I get that rake and get the John Deere set up with that, and I can just, you know, rake it up, push it off to the side, that'll really speed things up too. So you can see it's definitely a lot of mess that, you know, when you don't take care of stuff every year and, you know, keep up with it, this is what happens. But when you have the right equipment, it helps take care of it. And down here, actually, I've been looking for an old brush hog too, because some of these areas without the reeds and, you know, that are out in the open would be easy to brush hog too. Easier to do that than have to mow it every couple of days. With the price of diesel nowadays, you don't want to be mowing all the time either. So. But and you can see the faster you go, the better it deals with the grass. It just kind of pushes it out of the way. So now let's just go around start going around the other side there. And there's some big trees in here, so you've got to go really slow when you see trees up to about 1.5 diameter, 1.25 maybe. It'll cut them off, but you don't want to go too fast, otherwise I'll show you what happens in a second. And now I'm trying to work my way around this side of the pond here. It's going to take me a couple weeks, because I do have to deal with this stuff as I take it down, just because the VX just won't go over it. But it'll be nice once I get it taken care of. I'll be able to come down here with the mower on and the sickle bar and just run one or the other and just do it all in one shot. So. And I will tell you that it's a very hot day out now, and the bugs are unbelievable when you start cutting into this stuff. It's like it stirs up bugs from all over. So there you go. A couple minutes later, I've got, you know, 1/4 acre there cleared up, and just got to rake it up and ready to go. And you can see the pond again a little bit over in the front there. And this is what happens when you hit a tree that's too big to cut. It actually is a safety on it. There's 2 bars here, and that spring lets go and that piece slides forward there. I tried cutting a tree that was too big for it, but just it wouldn't do it. And by the time you stop, you know, that thing snapped. Now, This is my first time trying to get this back, and it was stupid to try to do what I'm doing here. The spring's pretty tight on there, and the pieces don't slide quick. And up on that angle, it didn't work that good. So I dumped it down a little bit, and there you can see the two pieces sliding back into position. But later on, I did it again, and I found out the easy way to do it is just go over to a tree and just put the bar down and just back into the tree. Just the opposite of how you unseated it. And that pushes it right back, no problem. Okay, so, everything is this here, you can see it's close to 10 feet tall, and that's just a year's worth of growth. Pretty crazy. So this is my path to get around to the back of the pond. And, I'm speeding this up a little bit, but you could run it faster. And there'd be no problem. But with all the trees and the brush and stuff that I'm cutting with it, and you can see it's easy to reach under trees too and get the berry bushes and stuff out. I've got some really big rose bushes that I started hacking at it too. So this really is going to be good for the whole yard. I just fill up some down here on the bottom, but I have since I got started with it, I have gone around the edges some. Alright, so we got some hacked down around the front of the pond. Now let's head further back down the bottom of the hill. And again, this all used to be mowed. I always kept it mowed a couple times a week, but now you can see I did make a pass through here once earlier on when it was dry and got some of the center of it cleaned up, but it's still a mess, and it all has to be cleaned up. And this here, like I said, this is out in the flat. The grass is I'll probably eventually just grab a brush hog if I can find a used one. This stuff is just so expensive new anymore. And trimming back the edges and stuff like that. And I just wanted to show you that this thing does more than it's supposed to do. I don't know how long it'll last, if I'll break it or what, but it seems to be holding up fine. And they do give you an extra blade assembly with it when you buy it. So if it does get dull, I can just pop the blade assembly out. Now this is a riveted sickle bar, so to change it, you have to drill out the rivets to put new blades on it. So it wouldn't be a quick and easy job, but alright, so here we are going over in the other corner in the back there, and you can see there's a really good sizable piece of land down there. And again, this was all mowed. It's overgrown now, and actually it's probably about 40 foot of these reeds and stuff that I have to go back and clean up now. It's really grown in from the property line, but a lot of tree branches and stuff that fell down too from the windstorm mixed in here. So I'll be doing multiple cleanups, and that's where I think that rake, once I get it modified, will work. And hopefully there's FedEx says it's going to be delivered tomorrow, so I'll see if I can get going on modifying that and mounting it on the deer. But again, this grass is all all minimum of 4 feet tall. I think you can see it's way up over the hood. This thing just knocks it right down. It doesn't need a lot of horsepower. It's a good thing. It just knocks it down and keeps on going. Yeah, you can see this is another section. It's a real thick matted type grass. The deer really love sleeping down here too. I think this is why we've had so many deer lately too, because of all the tall grass they've had to hide in. So hopefully once I clean this up, that problem will go away. So here we are. I figured I'd show you. This is after probably about 2 hours I started working around the whole thing, and now I'm just at the point where I have to wait to get the rake, get it cleaned up and stuff. But you can see it's you know, it's really put a dent in it already, and it's doing exactly what I expected it to do. And there's a pretty good sized tree I cut down with it there, you can see. But you know, it's really a great little machine, and it's just perfect for my little BX tractor. I can't believe it. So, you know, it started out rough, missing parts and missing shields and missing safety instructions and manuals and stuff like that. But in the end, now that I got it running, I really do like it now. You know, I'm really glad that I went this way. And it looks like it's going to, you know, really help me get this area cleaned up. Hopefully this shows you, you know, what a little tractor like mine can do with a mower like this on the back of it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.